Let's go, stand up. You got energy or not? Only 30 seconds, you're gonna jump for 30 seconds with me. Let's go, motion creates emotion. Let's go. Those chairs are so unforgiving. This is not what I paid for. All right. Kill it. Rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell. We're good. Thank you guys so much. Okay, now let's get real focused. I'm Drew Kimball, and I'm the owner of Kimball Consulting. Super glad to be with you guys, but I need to ask you guys for a quick favor, and it's not for me, but pull your phones out. I want you to text. Not everyone's a mom in this room, but you all have a mother, so I want you to text your mom, I love you, and I'm thinking about you. You're amazing. Something along those lines. Text it real quick. It's Mother's Day in 2 weeks. I'm saving all the dads, the husbands, and the fathers in this room the disappointment. If you don't get your mom flowers or tell her you love her, that's opportunity missed. But we did this for the veterans. We had you guys stand up so we could clap for you. Who's a mom in this room? Or who's a future mom? Not everyone's a mom, but everyone has a mother. So all the women stand up for a second. Let's praise all the cool business women in this room. You guys. You are the superior species. We know that, and we're grateful you're here. It takes a lot to run a business. There's a lot more female entrepreneurs that I've worked with, and I'm blessed and a better person because of my mom. My mom had 8 kids. She was pregnant for 10 years. I'm the third oldest of those 8 kids, and 6 of those 8 kids were boys. And my mom had us all in scouts and paper outs, and she taught me and instilled the value of a hard work ethic at a young age. So love your mom. Do me a favor. Do that for your mom. Okay. Also, we got these books passed out. Who has one of these? This doesn't have a title on it. I'd encourage you to open this flap and write this title. I was given this challenge by a friend of mine. He had a titleless book. We just heard from Dr. Smiley about the importance of book. I would say write this as the title today of this book for you today. The world's greatest story. The world's greatest story. Why is it the world's greatest story? And the pages are blank. Because it's your story, and you're writing it, and you're the author and the main star of your story. I'm going to share with you my story and my why, and I hope it is impactful to help you do one of 2 things. One, be 1% better, because every day you wake up and you're not 6 feet under in the dirt is a day that a lot of people aren't, right? So you are a better person today than you were yesterday. First things first, who is Drew Kimball? Why is Drew Kimball? Better question. What is a Drew Kimball? I don't have a fancy slideshow. I actually paid Travis and I was like, what do you want me to bring, a slideshow? He's like, no, dude, I just want you to come and talk. Okay, so we're gonna shine the slideshow. So listen with your eyes. I love some eye contact. I love to give you the same respect and courtesy back. Your time's valuable. You paid to be here. I paid to be here. Super grateful to learn from some of the people I look up to. But to give you guys a little insight into who I am and what I am, I have to take you back to 1984. 1984 is a good year. Who was around in 1984? All right, 1984. 80s babies. You're all boomers now. No, I'm just kidding. Gen X, thank you. Yeah, exactly. I grew up in the 90s. I love me some pop culture. Grew up watching movies. Grew up listening to music. I love me some heavy metal. So some of you guys will know that about me. I love retro video games. I do own a game store. I was not joking about that. Wasn't making fun of anyone that collects Pokemon cards. I don't, play Pokemon. I'm a poser, okay? So don't get high on your own supply. Starting in the 90s, things were difficult. As a big family, as I mentioned, my dad's dad was taken by alcohol. And because of that, he worked 2 full-time jobs since I can remember. My dad has the hardest work ethic of anyone I've ever met. And I'll tell you why. He's 86 years old. He still works 2 full-time jobs. He's in his 2nd career. He worked 40 years for the same company, a government water wholesale company. He was a chemist. He's from he's from Fair Oaks, California. He went to college at the University of Utah, got his chemistry master's degree. Both my parents have their master's degrees. Both my parents wanted me to go down that path, go to school, work the 9 to 5, get a pension, retire. Early in my life, my dad would tell me this devastating story, not as emotionally taxing and heart-wrenching as Tasha's story, but my dad would pick up his dad from the bar. He who spent the family savings at the bar. And my grandpa's an incredible man. I never met him, but his name was Golden Lamar Kimball. He was an American playwright who wrote plays while serving a church mission in Germany and had to evacuate because of Hitler. And he would take people to these plays that he wrote. And then he ended up dying in jail because of alcoholism and bad choices. My dad laid down on the sword for the family. My mom tells the story like he had his finger in the dike. Who has heard the story of the little boy saved the town because of the finger in the dike? And I was like, what is that? That's not a true story. Go read it. It's a true story. So my dad basically got his younger brothers through college. His younger brothers today are one of the biggest developer groups in Salt Lake City, Utah, Kimball Investment Company. They have a joint venture with a group called Woodbury. Some of the people from Utah have seen that name around. It's a big commercial name in the Utah area next to Brandon Fugel, if anyone's heard of him. So they developed a lot of hotels and commercial real estate. And my uncles are well beyond millionaires. My dad still lives middle class and he's comfortable with the 9 to 5. His second career, guess what he does for a second job? He's a custodian at high school. He's been there over, he's going to retire when he's 90. That's his goal. And the school loves him. The school loves him. He has a second knee replaced. He's had a couple heart attacks with stents in. My dad's work ethic is second to none. I tell you, he went to the U. He failed chemistry 3 or 4 times. Most people change their major after they didn't like the class or the instructor. My dad graduates. Ted Eyring, his chemistry teacher, he tells me the story that Ted said at his graduation, "Jerry, you're the most persistent student I've ever had." And I love him for that. Success is not one experience. It's several repeated experiences of failure day after day. You get up and you make the donuts, right? Dunford Donuts. You do what you got to do to bring what you bring to the marketplace. Whether that's success in your mind or not, you're moving forward somewhere. You have a dream and you follow it, that's success. Someone tells you no. Og Mandino, who wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, one of my favorite books, he said, with every failure plants the seed of success. All right? He also said, success may not be the fruit plucked by my action, but without action, all fruit dies at the vine. Let me repeat that. Success may not be the fruit plucked by my action, but without action, all fruit dies at the vine. Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Most people are afraid to fail. Failure, we all know the story about the light bulb. Thomas Edison, how many times did he fail? He's a reporter. He said, I didn't fail. I just ran out of so many ways that didn't work, right? And inevitably, he found the solution. That should be every business owner's approach. We just had a beautiful, oh man, you guys gave me so much ideas. I have one notebook full. I have another one I'm working on. Albert Einstein was up on the screen, and it reminds me of his quote. Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. In marketing and sales, you need to switch it up. And creativity flows when you're being different. When you're being the purple elephant, as Seth Godin says, right? Purple cow, excuse me. And you are standing out for you. We're in a crowded marketplace, and I get that. I'm in merchant services. It's hyper competitive. People worry about rates, and it's a financial solution. Not everyone gets qualified, but it's got such a black eye because so many imposters are in my industry that it's hard to find who's the right person to do business with. Instead, it's like, I hate this industry because so many crooks are out there. Well, maybe your perception of who you do business with is a direct relation to how you view yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Be a customer, be a salesman. Either way, light is attracted to light. You're going to bring into your life what you put out there. So to me, bringing this whole tangent home, my point is, my dad instilled a hard work ethic in me. I started selling candy in front of the vending machine in middle school. I was that kid undercutting the candy machine. And my mom would tell the stories like I was really good at making friends. I grew up in a town which was very cliquey, which if you're a jock, you sit with the jocks. If you're gothic, you sit with the gothics. If you're whatever, preppy, you sit here, right? We can relate to that. You watch those high school movies. Yeah, I would go make friends with everyone. And maybe one day I will come home with black hair and less of a pierced ring in my lip or mascara. I probably looked like I worked at Hot Topic, and my mom's like, "Are you on drugs?" And I was like, "No, I'm not on drugs." But I don't know. I just love retro stuff. I love to be a big kid, so I don't care. For me, making friends is my superpower. Everybody needs a friend, and we mentioned this earlier. It's hard because in our fast-paced world with content, and you got to get your message out and get people's attention and get them to buy from you. People have lost the art of making friends. I think Tasha touched on this earlier. One of my favorite books that teaches this is Dale Carnegie's classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's more important to be interested than interesting. When you're networking on a one-to-one, start out with some good questions. Don't be like, "Hey, I got an hour and I got to get my pitch out, and if you don't sign up with me, you're wasting my time." Most people go to networking to get business. I don't look at you guys as like, you're my potential customers in this room. Having said that, Dr. Smiley quoted a book, Malcolm Gladwell, Social Scientist, amazing book, The Tipping Point. He says the average person knows 200 people. You take all these seats and times that by 200 people, and if you're freaking Travis Brady, you probably know 2,000 people, right? Half of those people are fake profiles, bro. I have 40 friends on MySpace, bro. You're in my top 5, bro. I don't care about that stuff, but it's so fun to see that it's become a massive part of our market. To me, the salesman in me is I cut my teeth. I served a mission in Houston, Texas for my church. I cleaned up homes after Hurricane Katrina. I rebuilt a lot of people's lives. Trees stuck in the middle of their living room. It was devastating. They had nothing. FEMA was like cutting checks 6 months, 12 months later. In most cases, they had a little camper trailer on their property while their double wide had a tree in there. I've never seen everyone lose stuff, but that was devastating. I was cleaning it up, say what you want about religion or anything. You can't deny that if you serve other people, it's going to make you feel good. And if you don't have any interest in doing something well with your money, why have money at all? My grandma would say, money's only as good as the good that money can do. If you can't be a philanthropist and give back, why do you need to be rich? So we can watch you be rich and have a comfortable life while other people suffer? You should be serving and giving that money back and building wells and serving at the homeless shelter and doing the things that will, because I wasn't always here. My parents were like, "Oh, you want a car? That's funny. Go buy one. You want braces? Go buy that too. Oh, you want to go on a mission? We can't afford that." So I had to figure out how to pay for all this stuff. But it was because I put so much into it, I got so much out of it. And I literally worked Albertsons for 6 years. Who loves Albies? Shout out Albies. I would throw produce at 4 a.m, and then I'd get off of work and I would go skateboard with my friends. And everyone thought I was wasting my time. "You're skateboarding, you should be getting ready for your mission," and all this stuff. And so I went to my friend and said, "Listen, we need to film some skateboarding tricks. This would be fun." And so we did. We filmed some skateboarding tricks, and I saved up and bought a camcorder and did the things that I thought, I don't know, that I love to do. So I made a skateboard video, and we called it Zero Tolerance. And in an effort to get that skateboard video out to the high school friends that we had, because back in the 90s, we just had the high school director. Everyone had a home phone. Literally we silk screened like 200 shirts to promote this video. No one knew anything about, but hoodies and t-shirts, we sold them. I sold them all from cold calling. And I sold them because I was like, I got to get this video out, but I used the money between Albertsons and the skateboard video to pay for my mission. So literally like went into my church leader with this 50-gallon container of ones, fives, and quarters, just like, "Here's $9,000, send me." He goes, "Well, you got to go take it and get a cashier's check. We never have people pay out for their mission." And I was like, "Well, here I am, send me." So I went, did the whole thing, and came home, and a friend of mine goes, "Drew, what are you doing this summer?" And I go, "I don't know, going to college, like mom and dad said." I'm 21, and he said, "Don't do the college thing, come do door-to-door sales with me." In Utah, we call it summer sales. Who's heard of those? You've seen those kids with the orange shirts at Vivint, and they're knocking doors, and you're like, "That's such a waste of time." Give them a bottle of water. You don't have to buy anything from them, but be freaking nice, be human, because that's a hard job. And I did that for, I started to get interested in doing it. And I remember interviewing with a guy like Travis Brady. We call those guys the BYU bros. These are the dudes, their shirts are too tight, and they're like, yo, bro, how much you know about sales? And I said, nothing. And he goes, well, how much you know about alarm systems? Huh? And I'm like, nothing, but I do know one thing. And he goes, what's that? I go, I can outwork everyone in this room. I'll be your first one in the office. I'll be the last person to leave, but I'll outwork everybody in this room. My dad's Jerry Kimball, guys. Jerry doesn't stop. I like what Dom said. I will find a way to win. Dom, I will find a way to win. I love that energy, man. And it's like, I did exactly that. I would go hit more doors. I would take more no's than yeses. And that's okay, because that was me failing forward. While other people in sales think, oh, you should say the right thing to get the sale on the first attempt, I promise you guys there's no shortcut to success. So that summer, how do you guys think I did? I just guess, I'm just curious. I did okay. I'm not gonna brag, but I was the top first-year sales rep of a company called First Line. Rest in peace, they're out of business. They went bankrupt that year, and I was top first-year rep. I went from making $10.50 an hour throwing a pallet of produce and working at Home Depot and all the retail stuff to making 80 grand. And then I didn't get my second back-end check because they went out of business. But that paradigm shift happened for me. I could not go back and work for someone else because I wanted to work for myself. Who's had that entrepreneurial itch? Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm unemployable. I don't want a boss because I want to be my own boss. And I was just talking to my friend Laura about this. Who's read Robert Kiyosaki's famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You need to read that and understand the cash quadrant. If you're self-employed, that's great. You can make good money, but you don't want to stay in that quadrant forever. Where do you want to be? Entrepreneur, you want to be an investor, trust me. Everything Sally said, oh my gosh, gold. Guys, after making six figures, my mindset shifted. I went out and managed. Not everyone that's good at sales should be a manager. It's a totally different skill set. I recruited probably 45, 60 people, let's say, and about 80% of them quit in the month of May because they came down and they're like, this sucks. This is hot. I don't want to knock doors for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm better than this. I'm out of here. You guys, good luck with that. Dave Ramsey said, if you do what others won't, you can have what others can't today, right? It's a sacrifice. You invest in yourself. So I managed my second year. And what happens in 2009? Does anyone remember? Housing crisis, right? Guess what market we decided to sell in? I was in Houston, Texas. My office is falling apart, and I'm calling my mentor and sales friend, and I said, Zach, I'm leaving. This sucks. Management sucks. I got people calling me saying, I'm sick. I can't sell today. I'm quitting because it's hard. What do? I'm Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know how to manage. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's still be friends. I'm like Michael Scott. Let's still be friends, but yeah, you suck at sales. Like, it's like Dom said, he's just like, I hate people. Well, I love people, but that's my weakest point of managing is you have to have a backbone and be like, I want to be your friend, but I need to tell you how it is. You're not good at this job because you're not applying yourself. You can get excuses or results, but not both. So anyway, I went up to Detroit, Michigan to co-manage with my friend's office. It was the worst because the city of Detroit got hit so hard because of the recession, you guys. It was bad. I was just like, dude, nobody qualifies for anything here. And I lived in between 8 and 9 miles, shout out to Eminem. And it was bad. It was just a terrible community. But at the time, I was just in the wrong market, selling a product that is just hard to sell. Fast forward to today, those alarm companies continued to go out of business. And I remember meeting a guy named Todd Peterson, who is now, was a part of Vivint. He's gone now. But he basically owned a company called Apex. And he looked at me, and my friend that was trying to recruit me was like, this is Drew Kimball. He's the top first-year rep in 2007. You should hire him. And Todd looked at me and said, you did 200 accounts? Not bad. You would have done 400 at Apex. And I thought he was full of crap. I was like, okay, sales guys with egos. I don't know who those guys are. But I ended up just like rolling my eyes and didn't take the offer. And I was 25 and I started a business. I discovered the value of B2B sales. So I went and started a food distribution business down in Houston, Texas. My wife did all the books, the QuickBooks and the invoicing, and I went and hustled food to C-stores, grocery store chains, and Medical Center, Texas. If anyone's been to Houston, it's the largest compound of hospitals in the world. They call it the city within a city. And so I sold my product throughout there and ended up suffering because the company had financial problems, wasn't paying me everything, said, go get an SBA loan. You're selling too many accounts. I can't keep up with this area for you. I can't finance it for you. And so Curtis talked about bad partnerships. Yeah, I've been in a few. And so I was like, what do I do? So I sold that territory and became a food broker, and I would travel and sell. I got to tell this story because Dom wants a payoff. I was telling this at dinner the other night, and I was like, nope, I'm going to save it for my speech. So my wife's pregnant with my son, right? When things can't get worse, they get worse. Like Dr. Smiley says, who was prepared to have kids? Not me. But I had a kid at 25, and my son Jackson was born in Texas. And I remember the bishop saying to me, well, Mr. Kimball, you're lucky. And I said, why am I lucky? And he goes, because your son, he's American by birth, but he's Texan by the grace of God. And I still don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. And I remember like, dude, I can't do this. I'm a dad. I'm working 80 hours a week. I would wake up at 4 a.m. I would deliver, and then I would go sell, and then I would go to the warehouse and pull orders for the next day's deliveries. It was obtainable, but it wasn't sustainable. Get into a business that's sustainable, or else you will burn out. Trust me, you can always work hard, but have a work-life balance. I don't know what that means. My dad didn't show me that when I was a kid. But trust me, there's more important things than work. It's your mom. Text her. Trust me. Like, my dad is married to his job. He lives to work, not the other way around. He lives to work. And so I ended up selling that territory and becoming a traveling salesman. During that time, I was like, there's no money in freaking food. Food brokers make like 5% commission, you guys. It's terrible. You have to represent multiple lines. The buyers are like, well, we don't have a lot of real estate, but put your products here. If it sells, you have a job. So I got in and out of that business, and I started merchant processing. Merchant processing was terribly competitive. It's hyper competitive. It's misrepresented. Small business owners, if you're in this audience, you probably get calls every day. Hey, we want to help you save money on your merchant account. You're like, yeah, no. Click. Well, I found out real quickly that a big part of relationship-based or B2B sales was relationships. So I started attending BNI and doing the Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club and all those things. And I've been in BNI for 10 years. Shout out Tasha's the president of a chapter. I did the president of the chapter thing. I was in the largest group with Lance Euler right here, guys, in Salt Lake City. It's the North region. There's 55 chapters. And we did over $14 million in closed business. And I remember after the pandemic, our group had suffered from losing members. So I said, we're gonna up the ante. We didn't hit 12 million. We want to hit 14 million. And everyone's like, yeah, this guy's got a pipe dream. And I said, we're not gonna do it alone. We need to get our freaking recruiting shoes on and go invite some people to come to this meeting. And so I was like, I'm not gonna tell someone to do something if I can't do it myself. So I would lead by example, and I went out and recruited. Lance, how many people did we bring in? Like 10. But we went from 60 to 80 people. My math is off on that. Don't check me on that, Sally. And honestly, we ended up doing some incredible things. We were the top group in the region. And they give out these Go Giver Awards, which is like free parking at Chick-fil-A. It means nothing, but hey, brag rights. Travis, you don't have to text me, dude. I'm right here. So we ended up, fast forward to today. I love my business. I love what I do. I love merchant service because it's vertical agnostic. I don't want to stay pigeonholed into one industry and say, I'm this to this vertical. To me, it's all about the person behind the business. Am I compatible with them? Are their expectations realistic? Do they want to work with someone that can bring them value? Thank you. And we want to bring value to that business. That's what Kimball Consulting was designed on. In the course of me selling merchant services, I have what Sally would describe tax problems. Once you make over $250,000 a year and you make over $500,000 a year, and you start realizing you need to allocate your funds. So one thing I've been fortunate to do is have some high net worth friends. Not as high net worth as some of them people mention, but that's okay. Comparison is the thief of happiness. So we're all in life together. No one's time is more valuable than another's. And you can't take this money with you when you die. So who cares how much you have? Do something good with it. So I invested in 20 swigs. If anyone's been to Utah, you tell someone religion by the temperature of their caffeine, and we have dirty Diet Coke. It's like Diet Coke with freaking puree in it. And it blew up. Who's heard of crumble cookies? You never thought you'd live in a world where you pay 20 freaking bucks for a box of cookies, but we do. And so I invested in a group. We're building 20 Swigs in North Carolina. You heard me touch on that on the opening night. And then one of my clients came to me and said, Drew, I'm opening a game store. I need an investor. And I said, dude, Mario, I'm in. My wife was like looking at me like I had worms coming out of my ears. You want to do what? Invest in a game store? Like, what are you, 9? I was like, no, I'm 12, but mentally. And here we are today, 3 years later. Game store's doing well, investments growing. And to me, it's all about recycling your money. Get really good CPA advice, get a really good tax planner, figure out where to allocate some of that money so the government doesn't take it from you. And the most important thing I can leave you guys with is let's get connected. If we haven't exchanged contact information, I've been trying to network with as many people as I can. Just pull out your phones, invite you to pull out your phones, go to Instagram, type in Galaxy of Games Utah, that's our store. Type in Drew_Kimball is my personal page. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's Drew Kimball. How can I help you? My contacts are your contacts. Someone said someone in this room was the mayor. And I'm like, that's cool. You're the mayor. You've come to Salt Lake City. The mayor calls me. The mayor calls you the mayor and takes your pants from the bar. I heard that story. But for me, it's like, come to Utah. I have someone for you. If that's a market you want to break into, I'm connected. I spend most of my time networking nowadays. I get a lot of referrals. I share a lot of referrals. I always give more than I get. For me, it's never been about what's in it for me. It's, do I like you, and will my clients like you, and can I connect you with someone that can do business with you? And someone else said this earlier in the meeting and said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But more importantly to me, it's who knows you. Your marketing is only as good as your voice. And if you can't get people's attention, you'll never get good at sales. So the sales process to me, to sum it all up and bring this home, the punchline for each one of you guys is, if you're not gonna sell, find someone that will sell for you, but treat them like gold or you'll lose them. Trust me, you will. And if you can get good at selling, learn how to get really good at asking good questions. Don't try to bulldoze someone with, hey, I need you to sign this. If you're really good at problem solving, you'll always have a job in sales. It's a learnable skill. Secondly, make your referral group an accessory pack, like a utility pack to a superhero, and make sure you're sharing those names and making those introductions meaningful and doing it often. Too many people keep each other a secret. Why should we be a secret? If you want to get more exposure, there's strength in numbers here. A high tide raises all ships. All right, my favorite quote, and I'll say it to you guys once more, is Zig Ziglar. He said, you can have anything in this world you want if you'll help enough people get what they want. The law of reciprocity. I also really like Jim Collins, Good to Great. Good is the enemy to great. You might be a good networker, but you're here, you're leveling up. Iron sharpens iron. Stay maniacally focused on your goals. If you don't know how to put together a sales plan, if you're struggling with the sales process, let's talk. If you don't know how to close or open a conversation, trust me, it's not hard to figure out, but you have to be coachable. And you have to be willing to try, and you have to be willing to laugh at yourself when you fail. You're not failing. You're doing something that's hard, and it's going to take you some time in the saddle and some hours in the field to learn. But I promise you guys this, last story I want to leave with you. That year I made top first-year sales rep, I was invited to a keynote speaker with all of my friends, the regional managers of a group called Spot On. And the keynote speaker was this man by the name of Brian Tracy. Who's heard of Brian Tracy? If you're not following Brian Tracy, you're definitely missing out. He wrote a book called The Psychology of Selling. And Brian came and spoke. And then after he spoke, my sales mentor, good friend of mine, Ben Ward, shout out Ben Ward. He owns a company called Forward Leadership. He's my original sales mentor. He's in San Clemente, California. He asked Brian this question, and it stuck in my mind 20 years ago. And he said, Brian, if I was your son, what's one piece of advice you would give me? And Brian's answer was kanai, or the Japanese would say kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. The people that are at the front of the line were once at the back of the line. You guys think there's some shortcut to success, crypto this, 1 million subscribers this, all good things to fast track your success. And I'm not trying to downplay what we've learned the last 2 days. Those things are important. But simply put, show up consistently, put the effort into learning more. The best business owners I know read a book a month. Try reading 2 a month. Try to read more and more and more and absorb. Jim Rohn, the late Jim Rohn, said, don't wish for the job to be easier, wish for more skills. You don't have to wish for them, you earn them through development. I hated people saying these stupid sayings. We'll just fake it till you make it. You don't fake anything. You develop yourself. You don't have to be someone you're not and disingenuous and go out to the market and say, I'm trying to be someone that's successful over here. That's his brand. You be yourself, your authentic self. And the second thing I'll say is, I hate the saying that people are like, well, the product sells itself. That's right, the product sells itself. This is easy. That's bullcrap. How many realtors out there make 10 times the amount of money than other realtors? What, the home didn't close itself? Hey, you went into the home and it didn't sell itself. Because real professionals bring value through solving a problem and meeting a need. And if you can do that, you always have a job in sales, and that's where the money is. So guys, connect with me. I'd love to help you with your sales. And Drew Kimball, Kimball Consulting, that's all I got.
Boom.
Been an absolutely incredible morning. We have the sign-up sheet for the breakout. So we're going to go to lunch
Oh, I
right
got a
now.
hat, see it?